In this video I'm going to show you some high density altitude takeoffs, some landings, some tips to help in high density altitude operations. This grass strip is in Moravia in Costa Rica. It has some mud and the small tires struggle to get off the ground. Also, and we will talk about this later, it's very important to have the airplane lightly loaded. This is a Cessna 172 XP with stall kit and VGs. Also struggles with the mud with the small tires. Something that helps here is if we reduce the tire pressure, we let some air out so it has more flotation on the mud. Same airstrip, also very muddy. I have a little bigger tires. I have low pressure on the tires, lower pressure, and stall kit, VGs. I'm lightly loaded, have the empty propeller, and still takes a while to get off, but it's not as critical as the other airplanes I showed you before. This shows you that being lightly loaded and mods help a lot. It is also very important to lean for high density altitude operations. The way I lean the mixture is when I'm taxiing for takeoff, I'm taxiing with a little higher power and with brakes, and lean the mixture until it's a little rough, and then I put the mixture back in until it is smooth. This is a very nice takeoff. You can see how much the downhill airstrip helps to get off the air quicker. On downhill takeoff, if it's possible, stay on ground effect a little bit more, because the terrain is going from under you very quickly and you're getting higher quicker. Bruce Meadows in Idaho is a very long strip. At the beginning was wet, so I'm overflying it. Plenty of space for landing. It is pretty high, but it has no obstacles. This is a very long takeoff run in Bruce Meadows. You can feel there's not a lot of power from the engine, but also not a lot of lift because the air is very thin. Still I stay in ground effect and we have plenty of room and no obstacles, so there's no problem. For high density altitude operations, leaning the mixture is very important. Also, it is very important to have the airplane lightly loaded. Many pilots in the lowlands make a mistake of carrying too much weight, and then it makes it very challenging when they try to take off in high density altitude airstrip. In my airplane we added size fuel senders and digital display, so it is very accurate and I trust it. So important to plan your fuel accordingly. I can plan my fuel for the flights very accurately and not carry 20 or 30 more gallons, which is a lot of weight. My airplane is also equipped with a 2-blade empty propeller, which lost 16 pounds on the nose, which is great in case of a 182 because it's nose heavy, and in top of that has great performance. I try to fly with the least amount of cargo, and the cargo I have I put it in the extended baggage compartment, so it throws the CG aft, which helps for slower takeoffs, slower landings, slower stall speed. So all these mods and stall kit and VGs, they help. But even if you don't have mods, having the airplane lightly loaded is very important for high density altitude operations. So for high density altitude calculations, you take the elevation of the field, the temperature, and the pressure. Also the humidity, but it's a little bit harder to calculate. Those three elements are what dictates the density altitude. Sulphur Creek is famous in the Idaho backcountry among pilots. They have a lodge and great breakfast. It's very usual to have lots of airplanes coming here during the high season of flying. This is Camp Patriot in Montana. It's a relatively short strip at high density altitude and it has obstacles, so very important to use a good technique and be lightly loaded.